pioneers, it's all the small things and little details that count. That one little bit extra, repeated over and over again. That extra hour, the extra rep, the extra little bit of effort, hard work, that little extra. It consistently adds up to a massive, grandiose difference. Let me talk to you today about the principle of one thing. Committing every day to do one little thing extra that will take you closer to your outcome, your dream life, your goal that you've been building. Now, before we begin, pioneers, it is most important that you first have a very clear picture of your outcome, your dream life, the clearly defined goal. After all, you can't hit a target you can't see. And you certainly won't arrive at your destination if you don't know where that place is. So take a moment, a day, a week, even longer if you need, however long it takes you, and write it down. Your outcome, your goal, what your perfect dream life would be like. And then go achieve it. What is everything going to be like in the end? Your energy levels, your physical body, your mindset. Define it clearly, write it down. What will your relationships be like? Your friendships. Everything. Define it clearly right now today. How much money will you be earning? How will you be earning it? What would light you up and pay you well at the same damn time? Be specific. Now you have your targets. Now how are you going to hit them? Let's start by committing ourselves every single day to be better. That will take us closer to each major goal we have set for ourselves. No matter how small that goal is, that step we gotta take, no matter what disaster and trials and tribulations that may lie in front of us, no excuses. Commit to yourself to be better. Right now, today, this is our life we are talking about, pioneers. Nothing is more important than making a commitment and going 100% all in, chips on the table. Even if you ain't got pocket aces, if you're tired, no excuses. You'll be better. You'll do one thing, be better. If you don't feel like it, no excuses. You'll be better. You'll do that one thing every day, day in and out. Commit to yourself. If you feel like you're going nowhere, no excuses. Do better. You can change your approach, but you will not stop working towards the life and the goal and the outcome that you really want. The principle behind the commitment is to build momentum, strength, and the habit of consistency. A habit that you will find in all successful people. It's always just that little bit extra that makes a big difference in the end. Just that one thing that you do every day that adds up and compounds on itself until one day you don't even recognize the person you're seeing in the mirror staring back at you. The changes can be that great and you can do them, but only if you make the commitment. Are you prepared to be a pioneer? Make a commitment to go 100% chips all in on the table. It's the little details that count, pioneers. That one little extra repeated time and time again. That extra hour, the extra rep, the extra hard work, the extra little bit of effort. That little extra with consistency adds up to a grandiose difference. One thing, just that one little bit of extra to be better day in and day out. That's what separates the pioneers from the lost, the successful from the failure. That's what builds character. It forms a powerful habit, muscle memory, that little extra that you can do and that you can achieve. But it ain't gonna be easy. You're gonna have so many people tell you that you don't have what it takes. That you're not it. You're not them. How are you, of all people, gonna do that? You're being unrealistic. You're not gonna make it. Don't believe a fucking word they say. You're gonna have to block out all the noise of everything, everyone around you, and focus on yourself. You go after it and you give it all you have. Your dream life will come. Maybe you lose, but at least you tried. Maybe you failed, but at least you attempted to fly. It's 10 times more of a man or woman than someone that said, what if? Someone that tried is 10 times better. In life, it's not the genetic person that wins, and the one with the most potential, the one with the greatest looks, the most money. It's the one with the most perseverance, the one always wanting to get up and go at it again. That's the person who has their hand raised later in life saying, look at me now. That's who we need to be. Every true leader, every true pioneer is called weird. It's called eccentric. But when you do real things of leadership, you're going to be called strange, crazy. Get strong in your avatar, your own skin, so when people laugh at you and throw stones at you and mock you, you can keep on going. What are you going to do now? How are you going to control your life right now? Flip it upside down, 360. Say, Roger that, I'm going to harness this shit and be my best self. And one day you'll read about me years from now. And everybody who hated you in the past, mocked you in the past, they're going to have to feel you in the future. Because you're going to plant seeds today and eat fruit in the future. Don't get even though. Don't worry about getting even when you already beat the odds. You want to make a dream come true, you got to stay focused. Some people would rather stay even than get ahead. Stay focused on where you want to go, your outcome. Keep on building your craft and skill. Be relentless. Never let up off the gas. 0 to 60 real quick. Never stop, never quit. Never allow anyone, anything to talk you out of the dream, the vision that your life has for you. I've had my haters, my doubters, people who went against me, who tried to sabotage me. I'm a lion though. I'm not a gazelle. I don't need some external to motivate me. I'm a king. Life doesn't whip your ass. Life doesn't bully you. Stop whining. Stop crying. Nobody cares. Be demanding. Don't let life punk you. Yeah, you let it hit you and it might knock you down, but get back up. Affect your life and your outcome and what's going to happen to you. Waste no more effort, no more time wrestling with other people and what they think. Your future is not determined on the decisions of someone else, measured by their ruler and stick. You done wasted so much of your life trying to change what other people want of you. It doesn't matter what they think or want of you. It matters what you feel of yourself and how you see yourself. The fulfillment of your dreams lies within you and you alone. And when you understand and accept this, then nothing or no one can deny you greatness. Everybody said you don't read well enough, coach. You're not a critical thinker. Maybe I'm not, but I'm a fucking pioneer. You ain't gotta be smart and the best to be a pioneer. You ain't gotta be the most talented when you're a pioneer. You ain't gotta be the most vigilant when you're a pioneer. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna fail time and time again, but I'm gonna get up and do it again. And I will succeed. I already have. I'm gonna make myself good enough, and you can too. I wanna prove people wrong. While they talk shit, I keep working. While they gossip behind my back, I keep grinding, keep hustling. And in the end of it all, they'll lose and we will win. What if all of us took that attitude right now today after we face rejection and a no and a you can't do this, and we have a meeting and no one shows up, and someone says you can count on me and then they don't come through? What if we had that kind of attitude that caused diversion? Because that's what it does. But you still look at your dreams, reviewing it every day and saying to yourself, it's not over until I win. That's the outcome. That's the view, the vision. I'll go for war for what I love, what I believe in, for what I want, and I won't stand down. And if you get in my way, I won't step only on you, I'll step over you. This is my territory, my turf, my field, my court. This is my home, and I'm gonna protect what's mine. Because what you believe in your hearts and believe in your minds will eventually become your words and your reality. And what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset. And what gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset becomes an unconscious action and an unconscious activity. And I've always wanted mine to be guideful, helpful, and nurturing others. To give them a fish so that they can eat for a day, but leave them that fishing rod so that they can eat for a lifetime, but then teach them how to farm so that they can feed nations and take care of their generations that they'll leave behind. So glad to have you all here, back again. Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Coach Abe sending you all much love and high vibrations. Sending it all your way. Take that. Welcome to anyone new. I've had a ton of new views recently over the past couple of weeks since we've been out. A lot's just been the same in this uptrend that we talked about. When Bitcoin gets to be euphoric, it tends to just take off, and we've seen that time and time again. So had a lot of new views, and shout out to all y'all new viewers viewing this community right now and allowing me to expose my truth, how this market works, and in life. And although it could be a lot to take in for somebody that's new or even somebody that's been here for a while, I appreciate you all showing up with an open mind. And if it's your first time viewing my channel, I hope today's video will allow you to dive deeper into who I am, the mad scientist behind the scenes. Whether you're interested in the numerology and the truth behind the numbers, or the technical analysis, or the red pills that we give, or it's things regarding mindset that helps you dial in your investment thesis and your life to become a better person. I just want you to know it is my goal for every one of you that cross path with my work to become self-reliant and become pioneers, leaders in this community and world we live in, to know the truth about how life in this market works so that you can remove your emotions, leave them on the sidelines, and calmly navigate the cycles of this extremely volatile asset class that we're focused on mainly here, called cryptocurrencies. Out of all assets, this is the one with the most returns in the shortest amount of times, and subsequently at the same time the most amount of losses. And that's exactly why I focus on the skills required to be a pioneer and a successful investor, with developing a mindset and a thesis while staying calm in the process. Never react to these markets with emotion, only respond with skills and crafts that we have, that we teach here. Take personal responsibility every step of the way. Stay accountable to yourself and your trading thesis and strategy. That's what separates pioneers from the non-player characters. Mediocrity from failures. From leaders. But not only in bull markets, but in bear markets as well. So welcome. It's beautiful to watch this community grow. And if you're coming over from some of the recent podcasts that I've done, then leave a comment below and let me know the favorite part of my work that you enjoy. And if you see anything that I could add to this code, then or with the mistakes I've made in the past, feel free to share what you mean, but please don't say it mean. That's the most important thing. Let's keep this a love-filled, high vibrational community. So there's a lot to talk about. I don't want to be a predictions guy though, you guys. I know I make a lot of predictions and I do tend to do them ahead of time to see if they play out with the things that I'm seeing in life, in the markets, by the code, by the numbers, in an outside the box approach. And I don't want to be known as this predictions guy. Okay? I just want to be known for the hard work that I do. My overall goal here with my work is to just have people be more sophisticated investors and better people in life and a well-developed sophisticated mindset and investment thesis. I want people to be calm, cool, collected, leave their emotions on the sidelines, especially when the market has been volatile. I want you to know how to take action regardless of how specific we can be with quote unquote predictions. It doesn't mean you're going to be ready to take action when the time comes if you're not sophistically in tune with what's going on. You could be taking these moments until the next, upcoming years to build a future for your family. And when the time comes, you see these euphoric rallies or downtrends in the market, and this time comes, you can take actions and respond. And that's what most people suffer from. They get into these bull markets way too late, and they FOMO in, and they get in at tops when everybody's excited, like they did back in the past in that 69K, and when the market goes up, they never create a plan to de-risk and take profits and sell, and it's an endless cycle of waiting for somebody else to tell you what to do. And I don't want to be the cult leader here and have a following. I don't want to be that predictions guy and just wait on what people waiting on me to tell them what to do. I want you to learn and do it for yourself. That's not self-reliance. That's slavery if you can't do it yourself. I want freedom from my pioneers. So I don't give a darn how accurate my predictions are at the end of the day, and they have been over the last year or so. That's not what's going to help people become the best version of themselves. What's going to do that is when you educate yourself or educate people on a skill that leads them to self-reliance. And that is my mission here, and I feel like that's the most important thing and message that I can deliver to you all today, And it's a huge part of the conversation around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. Like, I try to expose this as often as possible that, this isn't what people think it is, They're so happy about crypto, and they don't understand what it was invented to do. We're in the phase right now where cryptocurrency is a speculative tradable asset where we can definitely make a handsome amount of profits and money for our families, as I do, as I teach. But the whole idea around blockchain is to push us into a slavery system, a whole new economy, and that new economy is not going to be more sovereign for you. It's going to be more of an enslavement economy where they can track, trace, and tag your every financial move. And I'm not here to be happy or pro-crypto. I'm here to teach you how to make money for what's to come. I don't care about any of this digital nonsense. It just is what it is. And I save my emotions for real life and what's to come, for my family, my son, and, that we gotta preach that, So before we get into any more technical analysis and determine what's going on here, I'll start off quick for those who are more advanced with a little bit of technical analysis to show you what's going on. Then we're going to get into some date numerology, some more market psychology, as well as some technical analysis. I'm going to go very deep and thorough on what I'm seeing in the markets. Kind of confirming that automatic rally that we were calling for around that March and April leading into the May eclipses, where we tend to see the market sell off in May and walk away. So very important, something we've shared for quite some time here. So let's go ahead and get into some quick technical analysis for those that are more advanced. Today in crypto, we're looking at Bitcoin on the 2-hour time frame. Automatic rally, is this you? Are you here? Something we've been talking about? We've talked about this idea where we could get a rising channel, a rising wedge that breaks higher if conditions were bullish and met in these markets. And we've got these huge epic set of green candles with volume confirmation in some of these rallies, okay? And we said this was not a bull trap, but a possible bull trap. If we were to get it back above 21,500, we can continue to see 22,300 in the 223 year, the skull and bones year, not surprising, we've known this for months, and then 22,700, which is the 49th prime number, as we just exited out of the Shemitah, the 49th year that led into this year, the Jubilee year, which was going to be very chaotic again for finance, world war, economics, regime changes, a lot of things that we're going to see take place. So very important to see these ranges, 22,300, 22,700, holding as major support ranges. So we've talked about this, how to pay attention when Bitcoin does this absolute ludicrous, out of nowhere, ridiculous pump to the upside, with the RSI getting super overheated into overheld, overbought territories, and then cooling off, and then pumping again into those same overheated, overbought territories, that when we see Bitcoin break out to the upside like this, we can tend to see it just continue to rally, and throw everyone off by surprise. And we saw this, like we stated in our past video, multiple times back in 2019 in the automatic rally. We saw these rising channels break higher. So also confirming possibly the start of this automatic rally that we've been calling for. So very important. But we saw this multiple times in 2019, these rising wedges that tend to break lower. Anytime in the last year, it's broken lower, but when the buyers are in the market and they send this thing blowing up, manipulated, moving higher, Bitcoin bulls are on fire, we've met 23,700, roughly $24,000. Close to our other breakout that we talked about of around $25,000 that we'll share in another chart in just a minute. So it's so very important to continue to see if these levels hold, or if we were to fall back down to this 322 exponential moving average or the 223 exponential moving average at around 21,000, or roughly 22,000. So very important. Those two numbers have been major numbers, 21, 22, in the past 2 years for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So when we see this yellow get above the blue, that's in bullish alligator mouth territory. So when are we going to see these cross again to bring a relief in the rally and pull back? Could it be towards this upcoming February full moon that tends to bring bearish energy in the markets? Not surprising. So we'll have to continue to see what happens here. But we were looking at another chart just a few days ago that showed a falling wedge pattern with a 68% chance of a breakout to the upside that could take us to a possible $25,700, the 55th prime number. So very important. We know that 55 number we may talk about later, but ties us into Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. So we could continue to see this break back above if support is held at 22,300, 22,700, 23,000 psychologically. Then we could see this break back up to 25K. So very important. And we'll share some of the number connections as to why this is important later when we get to some of the date numerology and the date connections coming up in the number numerology. So very important to see this falling wedge with a 68% chance of a breakout, break back above these ranges that we prepared you for, possibly getting as high as 25,000. We know that this was the FTX Sam Bankman-Fried, our last lunar eclipse sell-off that fell to a low on 11/9, okay? November 9th, 119, the mirror of 9/11. We had this mega dump, okay? Sideways consolidation, and then boom, a rally. So is this the biggest bear trap we've ever seen? Possibly. Okay, because we had a lot of support bounces and consolidation that led to this rally. So, one thing I mentioned was we had this CME gap that did not get filled. And I told you all, numerous times I've waited to reaccumulate in a CME gap that was caused, and I missed out, okay? And there's the gap that's got to be filled. We could show you gaps everywhere in the past that this has happened before, whether it's to the upside or the downside. I don't like trading these gaps because you get burned so many times, and people talk about them like they're gonna get filled 90% of the time. It could be a year from now when we feel this, maybe not. So I don't like to put a lot of stock in this because it causes me to miss too many moves in this market. So, very important to continue to see how we're just following the technical analysis that we've shared with you in the past. So very important. So, with that being said, for all of you, obviously upside target right now is at 25,700, 25,000 even to be conservative. Okay, maybe even 24 if you want to, be very conservative, to de-risk if you've been accumulating dollar cost averaging in over the last several months, years, collecting the lows, take some handsome profits when you're up roughly, we'll be conservative, and say 45%, not surprising. Okay, so keep all this in mind. Alright, so now let's see where we want to go from here. We know that support of 22,300, very important. Definitely want to continue to see us hold support of these moving averages, and we'll get into some simple and exponential moving averages, possibly some Bollinger Bands, and of course the moon patterns possibly by the end of this video. But we'll go ahead and continue on with everything we've been discussing. So let's go to another chart we shared previously. This area chart, line view chart with a couple trend lines drawn, another following wedge pattern that we've been discussing. We finally got back above this topside resistance trend line that we showed. So very important. So let's view this on the weekly time frame, but change it back to the candle view so we can see exactly what's going on here and make this a lot bigger for you all to understand and see. Boom. Going back from our previous bull market high to low, we're holding support of the 888 and getting back above the 1. Could possibly reach back up in this automatic rally that we'll discuss later. Okay, so very important. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly move this over, so in case I have to draw another fib in a minute, it won't be so congested. But again, that 1618 golden ratio of buy getting rejected from our top, not surprising, okay? Very overheated at this range, and if we can't hold support and continue to climb up, it's not uncommon to come and fall back even into the golden pocket, okay? So very important to remember. But let's continue to look at this on the weekly time frame, zoom in a little bit, and see exactly where we've been at over the last roughly two years, obviously. Going on 2 years come April now. So, so we're seeing all-time high, secondary rejection, bigger pullback, and then recently another pullback. So here recently, the past couple of weeks, we started to reject but break out of this. So we knew the apex of this pattern was getting very close to a breakout one way. Obviously, more likely a bullish breakout. A falling wedge has a 68% chance of a breakout to the upside, which is making me feel like this low for Bitcoin with a lower low and a higher low kind of W pattern. It's the low right now for Bitcoin, I do believe. And we're in that automatic rally, a relief rally, and it's underway. And after this relief rally, it will be more than likely to continue holding this macro trend line that goes back several years. And that doesn't mean that if we come back and pull down and hold it or swipe below it and get bought back above it, that doesn't mean the altcoins and other cryptos can't go even lower than where they were at if Bitcoin doesn't set a spring and another lower low after this automatic rally and Wyckoff reaccumulation. Okay, so very important that we remember this. So if we were to get up to 30 to let's say 48,000 conservatively, okay, and then peel over after an automatic rally, that's not to say Bitcoin doesn't hold this. It could have wick below it and get bought right back up at the end of the week, towards the end of the year, around September, October, November. Who knows? October, November, fourth quarter. It's sitting around 22 to 23,000. Okay, so that would be structurally in a perfect pullback and healthy technical analysis, play right here. If we pull a fib from high to low, we see that we just got above the 236, swing high to swing low. Breaking above this is bullish, okay? Breaking above this resistance trend line is awesome. Holding weekly closes above this is a key level to return back to after a relief rally if we get rejected from the golden pocket. Okay, the 236 is typically retested for another accumulation period. Okay, and that's again right in line with the 22,200, possibly 22,300 in July of next year. And we know how important July has been in the markets. May, June, July bringing lows. Same thing as back in here, May, June, July bringing some lows before the continuation into new all-time highs. So very important to keep this technical analysis for consideration over the next several months towards the end of the year. So we could get a possible, since we have this breakout, we'll just draw this out real quick, push up to 382, roughly 27,000, and then pull back into this trend line. Treat this as support, or this trend line as support, the 236, even if we don't get as low, and then continuate into that automatic rally stage that we've been preparing you for around this golden pocket. We'll see. If Bitcoin does this, it could then pull back into this area. And this would not be uncommon. It wouldn't be positive for other altcoins, because we have to consider Bitcoin's going to have a ton of dominance around this stage of the cycle. It's already been in an uptrend, and when it pulls back, it's going to steal a lot of liquidity from the speculative altcoins. They're going to flood back into Bitcoin, okay? That's a typical thing that's happened even back here in this cycle and, previous cycles. And you can go back and look that up for yourself. So I'm really enjoying this macro trend line that is very clean. We had this, low of 2018. This doesn't count because this is a black swan event. C19 got bought back up in a matter of days on weekly closes. But it's come into play so many times, and I just see this as being a key indicator to pay attention to. So very clean. So I think I'm giving clean technical analysis, not too complicated, and an idea as to how I'm perceiving things to go in the near distant future for these markets. This pullback could be very bearish for things like XRP, ADA, Zilliqa, you name the altcoins, they could be devastated. And they could be what we call just double bottom or actually enter a true spring. And I'll give another example and then we'll move on. Let's look at things like Hedera hash graph. Okay? If I can find it. Alright, so let's look at this chart. Not a lot of data going back just a few years. But if we were to look at this chart and we see this just automatic rally after a low, almost returning to previous lows back in the past, we can just see we have a little bit of a upside recovery right here. So let's pull the same Fibonacci retracement concept, okay? Let's put this and see where we're at, breaking up above the 236. Okay, and now let's mark the October-November time frame. Okay, this could be our zone to return back to for a double bottom. Okay, so we could have our, short-term pullback possibly if we can't break above this, or if we continue up and then get a short-term pullback, we could then break out even higher into around this 618, this 21.5 or 702, let's say 14 to a high of 24-25 cents, and then come back down and boom, double bottom around the end of the year, and then we just regain structure, or we set a spring. Okay, so very important. So what I'm considering and why this could only be a double bottom is because let's measure the move from all-time high to low that we've gotten so far, 93%. Not surprising, because this is tied to Saturn and a Saturn coin. When we look at H-bar, and we'll talk about this later, we see the Saturn logo before they changed it to the latter, which is, the Gemini logo. So very important, you guys. The symbology that we've got to pay attention to, but this is considered to be a Saturn coin. So I'm just making some connections right here. Down 93%, it could just double bottom in the near distant future. So, alright, let's continue to move on. So, and then we can just continue to see it, move back up. This is a coin that has solid utility, a solid project. So expect on this move right here, this automatic rally and pullback. This could be a time where we see things like the Binance chart that is just ridiculously, and I have a better chart right here to show you this. It's just ridiculously been in a 711 day just sideways consolidation, while everything else has been in a year-long downtrend, just holding structure for 711 days. And this could be a time period where something like this just gives, and we see some narrative around CZ and the Binance exchange. It can't just keep maintaining this horizontal chart trading structure forever. There's going to be some sort of shakeout, I believe, on this project. Okay, so it's something we should pay attention to if you're a Binance holder in the near distant future. It's just unsophisticated. So to talk more about some Wyckoff reaccumulation and what we've been seeing in the past is I've got a great chart that I'm going to compare to, the standard Wyckoff analysis method. Phase A, B, C, D, and E, going over the buying climax, selling climax, and automatic rally stages that I believe we are continuing to be in, that we've talked about for over a year now. So got this drawn out right here. Same falling wedge pattern with a 68% chance of a breakout, because it's so fundamentally important to just follow the basics. Excuse me, I had to get a drink of water. But let's keep talking about this Wyckoff reaccumulation method. Alright, so just to give you some conservative numbers to look out for, the upside, downside, if you're anticipating either or, this is what I developed this for. And if you haven't watched any of my work in the past, I've shared some very thorough technical analysis and methods, and a lot of Wyckoff analysis theory around this. So this chart right here, I hope, shows you that when we have our automatic rally, it's followed by a phase C. Automatic rally comes in phase B. Okay, so it's followed by our buying climax, all-time high or new top. Okay, followed by a selling climax that leads into phase A, and the bottom, the low, that is then followed by an automatic rally in phase B. With the low end, our rally starts. Okay, so it could then lead to phase C, a return to a double bottom, or a spring, a lower low, which could happen again in Bitcoin or a lot of these markets and cryptocurrencies. Some people feel like they've missed the bottom, and I want to share this with you all to be calm, cool, collective, and share with you how Wyckoff method is over 100 years old. It's been working since before trading happened on computers, when trading was still on paper. Okay, so when we have these automatic rallies, the buying pressure gets exhausted, and then you typically have returns back to the heart line of your structure, your low where the most trading range was happening, or a prior support. Okay, or then you can even go deeper into a spring. Okay, and that would depend on what the stock market does. If the stock market has a really big correction towards the end of the year, it could bring us down even lower to around October, November, September, this time period right here. Okay, so of course it would bring crypto down. If we go to wars and see alien invasion, see some wild narrative like we've been seeing the last couple of years, it can bring some euphoric action to the market. Okay, that would be a buying opportunity. Buy the blood in the streets. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. Okay, and we see the fear and greed index was at fear last month, but everybody's starting to be neutral and greedy. Let's continue to pay attention to the fundamentals right here. So, anyways, don't be greedy. This is our heartline territory where people tend to start FOMOing in because they feel like they missed out, and that energy isn't welcome here. Okay, that's what keeps people from being sophisticated and self-reliant and a great investor. And I know people bring up this waiting around for someone else to make a move, or coach, what is going on? And I've been telling people, don't wait for coach to make a move. Just follow the work, do your own research, build your own thesis, and go from there. I have a completely different investment thesis than anybody else. I bought my Bitcoin at 4,000, 7,000, and then I de-risked it between 20 and 24, 30,000, and then I reaccumulated other great projects, and I've been doing this time and time again for the last couple of years. So, okay, I de-risk when I need to take care of my family, and I still hold on to a bag to reaccumulate with. Keep a trading portfolio. Like, please know that my investment thesis is different than yours. Don't wait for me. Okay? I say this publicly. Build your craft, your skill. Okay? Please take action when needed and respond. Don't react. Okay? Develop your own thesis. And the one thing that everybody needs to see is that I've been telling you to become self-reliant and a pioneer and change your life, giving you the tools, the secrets, sharing with you the exoteric truth, the decoding for you to apply yourself for where you're at in your life, financially, mentally, emotionally, with your cash flow and your job, your business, your life, whatever you got going on. We're living different realities, but this could be interchanged throughout nations. Math, especially, which is what this is, ran on an algorithmic code pre-programmed by the numbers, is our only universal language. Okay? Numbers are everything, and that's why I share them in my work. Alright? And that's what creates these buying climax and these selling climaxes. Not only numbers, but your emotions as well that they harvest. Okay? So create a deep investment thesis. Okay? Don't wait on someone else to tell you what to do. And then you start to get in when it's starting to get exciting, when you should have been taking action the whole time it's been boring and bloody, dollar cost averaging in for the last year. Buying the lows and then getting ready to de-risk. That's something I've been building my course around for several years, since 2019. So please develop your own investment thesis and use these podcasts to influence someone else or to better yourself. Whether it's technical analysis of the numerology and gematria, apply what resonates with you to your thesis. It's important that we get this out of the way early on as pioneers, because some people are newer to this channel. They're coming over from the latest podcast, etc. And they might not be used to seeing the things that I share here, the exoteric sides of the markets, and hearing the things that I share. But I'm a real boy, I'm a real one. My mission is to make you self-reliant and a pioneer, not waiting around for what I do or what somebody else tells you to do. You've got to build this and develop this yourself. So very important that we just keep this in mind. So with all that being said, that's enough of the market psychology and technical analysis. We will get into some more in just a moment. Let's start with some date numerology, and let's look at today leading into tomorrow, February, as well as the first few days of the week of February leading into the full moon, where we tend to see some bearish energy coming into these markets after this, again, ridiculous, ludicrous pump that we've been seeing that goes against a lot of fundamental basic technical analysis. So the first date that I want to talk about will be obviously today, being the monthly close for the markets, connecting it back to Rosh Hashanah and the end of the Shemitah, which led into the next day, the following day, the start of the 50-year Jubilee. We see today as a 18-week and 1-day time period that we know ties us into Bitcoin and our favorite pal, Nakamoto, giving us that 181, which is also giving us that 55 that we'll discuss later. Let's hit enter, get that down below. But that 181 has been a crucial range for us to get back above for cryptocurrency and things like Bitcoin, where we knew we had this 18,000. I'm on the right chart. Sorry about that, you guys. I'll find it in just a second. We had this $18,100 range that we knew we had to get back above to hold support of right here at this 181, and we've just euphorically blown past it on a lot of daily candles. So we knew that was a major range of support and horizontal range that we had to get back above to even see this 187, this psychological 20,000, and these higher ranges that we now find ourselves in, almost confirming our automatic rally that we've discussed. So going back to the dates, obviously today being the monthly close, we're going to pay attention to where the market closes tonight, hopefully above 22,700 or even psychologically 23,000. We know that's tying us into the Jubilee year that we are in, like we discussed. Giving us that same 23, as well as Bitcoin giving us that same 23, and we know that's highly tied into the upcoming full moon that we have, also giving us 23. Money is ran by the god Mercury, giving us that same 23 as well, when I spell it correctly. Sorry about that, you guys. But so very important that we see this. Alright. One quick second right here, you guys. Alright, love you, Mom. I'll see you soon. Sorry, you guys. I had to tell my mom that I love her. She stopped by real quick to check on us, see how we were doing. So, shout out to the mom. Big supporter of the Pioneer Academy here that we're building. So, anyways, back into what we were talking about was with this date numerology of today. Not surprising to see some more euphoric action. Let's see what the monthly close brings us. And we can look at that real quick. If we were to go to a cleaner chart and look at Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, we're seeing, oh man, I keep forgetting. Yeah, Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, obviously seeing a bullish engulfing. So definitely want to continue to, oh, that's the Bitcoin, that's Binance. Sorry, you guys. I was wondering why it looked, oh yeah, definitely a bullish engulfing. So very important. Would definitely love to see this this candle structure close of 23,000 psychologically, 23,100. So we'll see what happens. Obviously right now we're trading at around 23,100. So let's see what happens within the next 5 plus or minus hours on today in the monthly close leading into February, where we get a new monthly candle. So that's going to be important to continue to pay attention to. Alright, now back to the date numerology and some more dates that we can start talking about, which will be obviously tomorrow, February 1st, and tying it into the upcoming end of Rosh Hashanah, or the next Rosh Hashanah this year, and the end of the Jubilee year. Okay, so we'll tie this into tomorrow's dates this year, and we'll look at this 9/17 date coming up. Okay, so it's going to be an important date this year coming up, giving us a span of an important 32 weeks, 4 days. Not quite. Okay. Alright, I'm tying this day in tomorrow, starting off with it, because it's the day that leaves 323 days left in the year. So just paying attention to that. Not only it's giving us that 2-1, or internationally written 1-2, which we know we just entered the year of the rabbit in the Chinese New Year, giving us that 12, or the mirror of 21. Okay, and we know Bitcoin is tied to Saturn, giving us that 21. It has a 21 million coin supply, and if you don't have a whole Bitcoin, you have what are called Saturns. Okay, so very important, that 21 highly tied to Bitcoin. Alright, so very important that we just make this connection to February 1st tomorrow and see where we go from there. Okay, and following that day, which is the 2-2 date in the 22 in the 223 year, it'll be the 33rd day of this year. We know Bitcoin's creator is Satoshi Nakamoto. So very important. Satoshi Nakamoto is 47 years old. So this is a date numerology that adds up to 47, and we know this 22 ties us into a recycle, being 3 days before our next upcoming full moon that we see lands on February 5th. So the 1st and the 2nd being today, the 1st and the 2nd tomorrow, and the next day being roughly 5 to 3 days before our upcoming full moon, where we tend to see a shift in energy and bearish momentum come in the cryptocurrency markets. So this 33, this 47, this 22 number, all so very esoteric. This 227 being the 49th prime number, coming out of the 49th year, the Shemitah year, the sabbatical year last year that led into this year, the Jubilee year. So I'm just paying attention to the connections that we're seeing by the code, and just sharing how I think the first week of February, which February 2nd will be the first release of earnings reports for stocks, okay, mostly tech stocks. So it's important to see what happens. It could mean this upcoming week could be very volatile for these markets. We got to consider that this Monday, yesterday the 30th, the stock market opened, and now we're right into the monthly close today. And then, for the overall markets on a Tuesday, which is the day of Mars, which is just a very important day by the numbers, okay? Tuesday, very important. It's going to pivot us into the market close on 2-3. Very important, very volatile market week for the market, being 32 weeks and 2 days away from the end of Rosh Hashanah and the Jubilee. So giving us that skull and bones number, our favorite pals. So very important that we just pay attention to the first few days of this market, okay? So this is also just so very esoteric, okay? And I can't express that enough. We know the Enigma 23 and how powerful this number has been, especially around money and Bitcoin over the last year, especially this being a 12-date numerology that, ties us back into the mirror of 21, or rabbit in the year of the water rabbit, Chinese New Year. So important to just consider these days, okay? Just going by the data right here that we have in front of us, alright? So let's look at the next full moon, which is the 25. Again, we got that 25, that 52 when we typed out rabbit, okay? We know that ties us into BTC and the Bitcoin ticker symbol, and a lot of other things like Earth. We all live on Earth, giving us that same 25, 52, but more importantly Venus, because it is a symbol. The rabbit, the moon, is a symbol for Venus, okay? So very, very important that we pay attention to these connections that we're getting when we see this 25, the next full moon, okay? Irrefutable, undeniable, that 224, 224 days until the end of the Jubilee year ties us right back into Bitcoin, and the creator Satoshi Nakamoto giving us that same 224 in date numerology, or in name numerology. So very important. This is the 36th day of the year, and we know that, this is tying us back into the 36 we get in Bitcoin. I didn't type that out today. But again, Bitcoin giving us that same 36, tying us back into the mythologies. Zeus, which is also known as Jupiter, or Thor, giving us that same 36, but this is the day of the full moon, giving us that same 36 in two ciphers of numerology. The 43, which is the 14th prime number. Bitcoin is 14 years old. So just paying attention to the volatility that we could see upcoming in the next few days, the first week of February. When it comes to these full moons and new moons, we just get the pivot of energy within the time frame. A 3 to 5 day window before, on, or 3 to 5 day window after the full or new moon. So on the 5th, I'm looking for, around this time period to be interesting. Again, the date is 2-5, or written internationally 5-2, tying us back into rabbit, okay, tying us back into Earth and Venus, okay, the year of the water rabbit we are in, okay, so very important, okay? Just keep this in mind if you're an active trader, so the rabbit and the moon are tied together right here, and the full moon right here showing by the code on the 25, tying us in right here. Rabbit and full moon, on the 25th is the new moon. So Awesome. Let's get back into it. It's just not a coincidence that this is the 36th day of the year. Full moon, 36, Awesome. And if we connect it back to the first day of Rosh Hashanah and the start of this celebration, we'd see that it is a span of 222 days in span apart. So it's also connected to this very powerful 16 number, okay? Because the actual Rosh Hashanah starts on the 15th and ends on the 17th. It's a multiple day event, so it's also tied to the 16th, and this will be the first full day of Rosh Hashanah, and it's on a Saturday, the Saturn day, giving us that 223 in connection. So very important, giving us that 106. Drop the 0, you get that 16. It's going to come into play in a minute, but being a 7-month, 11-day time period, that 117 we get when we typed out Bitcoin. Okay, so always buy the code. Bitcoin still didn't go down there, but it equals 117. Now it's down there, but 117. So very important. Okay, so this Saturn day connected to this 2-5 full moon date. I'm paying attention to it because it's connected by 223 days, which is the reverse skull and bones number in the 223 year. Okay, so very important that we pay attention to what is going on, and possibly coming up this first week of February as we get ready to head into the Super Bowl. Okay, so very important. Okay, awesome. This is even a 23 date numerology. Jubilee equals 23, and this will be leading into the last day and the end of the Jubilee. So very important. Okay, so let's just continue to pay attention to these connections. So one more day to pay attention to coming up would be obviously this 27 day, being another 222 day span time period to the end of the Jubilee. And I'm also going as deep as this 213 date, being the 44th day of the year, the 321 days left in the year, with a 22 and 58 date numerology. This 213 is highly tied around death. Death equals 213. 13th card in the tarot deck is death. So this being a 7-month, 4-day time period to the end of the Jubilee, that's tying us into Jesus 74, Lucifer 74, Energy 74. So just paying attention to how important this is. This 216-day time period, being a 30-week, 6-day time period, tying us into the 3 6s. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216, the true mark of the beast. Okay, not 6, 6, 6. That's 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons that make up every cell of every atom of the Homo sapien, the mankind body. Okay, so you are the mark of the beast according to your scripture, when we know the true mark of the beast and the number is 216. 6 times 6 times 6. So very important. So just another date that I wanted to throw out there relating into Valentine's Day. So, very important. Obviously, a day that tends to be, celebrated all around the world, about baby Eros. So just a quick first two weeks that we were looking at, and then I wouldn't even be surprised about if we see some energy around this 210 date, being a day that adds up to 55 in numerology. Possibly this 211, we know that is a very powerful day as well, because it's the 42nd day of the year, tying us back into Saturn. So just want to share some upcoming important date connections that we've been seeing. So let's continue to get into the Bitcoin cryptocurrency technical analysis real quick. Let's look at Ethereum and XRP. Maybe go over a little bit of Hedera hash graph. and go from there. We'll see what happens. All right. Look over my notes real quick, and we're off. All right. Let's look at Bitcoin on the wow. See if we can find a cleaner chart. See if we can look at this on the 12-hour time frame and see what we got going on here. Erase some of this real quick for us. Alright, and let's see if we can turn off the drawings real quick and pull up some, not the best chart. This is going to be it. Yeah, we'll look at this automatic rally chart and just go from there. And look at Bitcoin on the 12-hour time frame. And we'll pull up some exponential moving averages, being the 223, which is going to be your yellow, disappearing and coming back. Okay, 223 exponential moving average. Then we see our 8 and our 55. Obviously the 200 is the red, the 8 is the green. No, sorry, the 8's not there. The green is the 55, 200 is the red. So holding support above this on the 12-hour time frame, pretty bullish. But we'd still like to see this 200 get back, keep this 8 back above, or keep this 55 green back above both of the 223 and the 200 exponential and simple moving average. Okay, we do have this. Oh, that's my falling wedge trend line. So let's hide the drawings and just pay attention to the 12-hour time frame and the euphoric breakout we're seeing with these simple moving averages. It's pretty bullish. Not quite in full open alligator mouth with some other exponentials that we don't have pulled up, but this is pretty important. One thing I want to note is obvious bearish divergence by pulling up the RSI real quick, the relative strength index. And when you see this, you can see that the RSI has clearly, since our breakout, been in a high with the lower high with the lower high, and just in a downtrend on the 12-hour time frame. But price action has been going up and up and up, so clearly showing a bearish divergence. So it's something to pay attention to, because when you see the RSI in an uptrend and the price action in a downtrend, that is actually a bullish divergence and something that is interesting for investors to take note of. But when you see the price in a continuation and uptrend, but the RSI in a downtrend and a bearish divergence, it's something you want to be very cautious of if you're investing in the tops of this market or any asset when you see a bearish divergence forming. So when you see the RSI sitting here at around 95 and Bitcoin's trading at around 21,000, and we go sideways and we have this bearish divergence become even noticeable on this breakout candle when it went up to 22,300, 22,700, and the RSI is still sitting at 82, about 13 points lower, hanging sideways, and then we break out again, and then, well, now we're at 78. This is what I don't like. Bitcoin keeps doing this, especially on the fucking weekend, Saturday and Sunday, when no market sophisticated analysts are in play. It's just retail, okay? So it clearly shows that unsophisticated analysts are moving this market that was started by a manipulated, ludicrous pump by a bunch of stablecoin injections from the sophisticated players a couple Fridays ago that we discussed in one of our videos. So when we're getting higher highs in prices and we get a bearish divergence, it's pretty obvious to be cautious, okay? And this is, to me, not looking amazing. This is very fake out, manipulate energy vibes to me, and I'm not buying it, okay? Been de-risking it, but we do have some good signals, and one is the fact that we're trading above the 200 exponential and the 200 simple, okay? So let's see. Alright, let's get rid of the 223. And let's bring up the exponential moving averages. So we see our 200 right here at around 19,300, 193. Not surprising. This 55, this 34, the 21, we're holding support of the 21 on the 12-hour time frame. So looking pretty bullish, pretty beautiful support right here on this 21 as support right now. You know, this is looking good. When this 55 crosses the... Okay, it's already crossed the 200s. So when we see that happen, that's a bullish cross. That's pretty good. But this can come back into the full moon and retest some of these as well, okay? So don't be surprised if we see that. Let's start looking at the monthly chart. And this is very interesting. Getting rejection from the 55. This is the first time, though, we see an 8 and a bearish wolf cross below the 55 for the first time ever on Bitcoin. This is new data, you know, only a few years old, first iteration of something, so that's new. We like to, you know, experience new things. But you know, if we can get that 8 back above 55, that would be a bullish cross, and a monthly close above this 55, we could possibly go up to 25k like we've been talking about. Continuation of a relief rally, something like this energy back here, or even, well, I would say this relief rally right here. It's harder on this chart to tell. It doesn't give me as much data. I don't know, maybe on a weekly. So yeah, it's automatic rally right here. So boom, automatic rally right here. Very similar to what we could possibly be seeing, okay? So definitely want to just drill that in your minds. Alright, let's look more at the Bitcoin weekly and bi-weekly setups, okay? Because we're in this moment where we're starting to see the chart showing us recovery conditions, okay? And I think that's something that's really good, that's really important, okay? To get signals and have proof in our data to show us what's happening, instead of us just guessing and using past data and predictions to decide, okay? Bi-weekly, we still have a ton of room on this RSI for at 47 to grow, you guys. You know, this close that we're about to get on the bi-weekly, or that we just got, the 16th. So no, we're about to get another one yesterday or today. Have to look into that further, but you know, two bullish engulfings, so we'll have to see what the next candle brings. Alright, so this is looking good, you know, but we want to break back above this level of about 25,100, okay, 251. Alright, so very important. We can be considering a possible possible 55 above the 200. Yeah, right here. If we can get back above this 21,000, this 21 exponential moving average, setting at about 25k, and this 34, this 55, we could possibly easily see 27k. You know, 25 to 27k if we continue this automatic rally and uptrend. And the big reason for that is because We've been in a perpetual downtrend for a year, so remember that. There's got to be some give somewhere, okay? So there's got to be some sort of support, like it was back here and back here and back here. This doesn't count, Black Swan event, but a little support right here. Got to be some kind of support after a grandiose, arduous downtrend that's taken us down again 77%, you guys. So very important, okay? We could even hit 25k first, roll over really quickly down to 20k psychologically, and then continue. That's a really good theory, you guys. Alright, we already have seen an RSI a couple times on multiple time frames oversold, overheld, overbought, and it would not be weird at all to continue up a little bit and then get a pullback. Okay, technically it'd be just healthy. Alright, and that's something we can just consider moving forward. So with that being said, let's look at Ethereum really quickly before we go ahead and look at XRP and get out of here, you guys. Okay. Alright, I'm sure the bearish divergence and all the stuff that's going on with Bitcoin is pretty much the same as Ethereum, but let's look at our chart we've been keeping up with. Daily time frame, yeah, pretty much the same. Uptrend, setting highs, RSI still setting lows. It's probably even better on the 12-hour time frame. Oh, most definitely even better on the 12-hour time frame. But let's go back to the daily and see what we see on some daily closes. Getting back above the 223, but yet to get back above the 322 exponential moving average. We'd like to see held as support, but remember, we get rejections from these more than often, or we only hold them for so long before falling back down. So remember that when this yellow gets above the blue, we could be in an automatic rally. But we have got back to our previous $1,600, $1,700 top of our W pattern breakout that we were discussing for the past several weeks. So very important, especially to get this breakout from that $1,250 range that we knew was a major support range going back in time. But this RSI and bearish divergence is not good, okay? When ETH is at 1,500, we could easily pull back into 13 to 1,400, 1,450 easily, you guys. So it's not as noticeable with this bearish divergence for Ethereum as I am Bitcoin. So we are holding this 223 exponential, and that's very important, okay? But if we start closing dailies below this level, probably going to come back down to this, let's say 200 simple. Yeah, easily this 55 or this 200 simple, okay? Especially $1,300, that's very easily, especially that $1,400 range for Ethereum, when we know ETH or Ethereum, it gives us that 14. So very important, giving us that 14. Could possibly see a $1,400 again accumulation range, probably 1,450, 1,480, 1,490, to be very, conservative. Alright, so now let's look at XRP real quick, because there's not a lot more to discuss for Ethereum. If we continue to see this break above 1,700 and these previous highs, especially this $2,028, 2,000 psychologically, or get up to 22, we are confirmed to continue on for our automatic rally, and that might consist with Bitcoin breaking back up to 25,000, 27,000 higher if we are continuing to see an automatic rally. But again, this could pull back and then lead on before eventually setting a phase C and a spring or a double bottom in some of these cryptos before we continue further in a new cycle. So very important. So one thing for XRP is I see the potential for a double cycle for XRP in the next move, meaning Meaning, let's be completely clear here, because I don't want to, be thrown into the XRP bandwagon group or the XRP army. But if we were to look at this on the weekly time frame and just go back in time and just look at this as a Wyckoff reaccumulation schematic, we can see some very important things, okay? But it would be very similar to what we saw back in sorry you guys, what we saw back in this time period right here, before we saw an automatic blow off top for XRP. And I don't know if I'm on the best, yeah, I'm on the Bitstamp chart on the weekly, but yeah. So a double cycle for something like XRP would be a, stagnant, suppressed period like we've been in for 5 years, and then we get a rally up, okay? And that'd be very similar to what I may see in the future, or what we may see in the future. It may be amazing, especially if the SEC case gets prolonged, like the Bernie Madoff scandal. Because if we would have a move to get into something like, let's pull some fibs real quick and discuss this so you understand what oh man. There's got to be a cleaner XRP chart. Oh yeah, that's much better. Anyways, so if we were to pull a fib, from swing high to swing low. Sorry you guys, my mouse is tripping on me. If we were to pull high from swing low, it'd be nothing to easily get back up into 702. But the problem is, I think we've already accumulated our buying climax, selling climax that led to a low and an automatic rally that's leading into a double bottom or possibly spring before a continuation. But don't get discouraged, because when we zoom in and we look back at some amazing time periods in the past, we see that there's a lot of price action going on right back here. And it is not uncommon to see this same thing happen, after a lot of suppression for this altcoin. We've seen this grandiose pump that led into what was then, at the time, a 99% correction before we then saw it blow off for another 6,205%. And then now we are entering back into hopefully what over the next several months would be a repeat, a double cycle, where we get possibly, if we were to pull up another fib, and I know it's going to look sloppy, but it could be possibly where we get back into the 1618 at around $3.13, or new all-time highs at $3.33, $3.03, before we consolidate like we did here, maybe have a pullback and then have another grandiose push to around 7 to, we'll just consider $14, that 4.236 level. I'm just considering this as a possibility because of how suppressed XRP has been over the last several years. Okay, and if we look at these structures that I'm talking about, you can see, if you're familiar with Wyckoff method, then how long this could take to play out. Okay, 05, 06, all the way into 07, multiple years. And to see a XRP suppress for 5 years without hitting a new all-time high, I'm just trying to really give you all the the truth, the red pill, the clear pill around this asset that I do believe will be successful in the future and you can make money on if you dollar cost average in and learn how to trade. So just keep some of these things in mind, because we've really been able to make some amazing calls off of XRP over the last several months, because we've been able to follow just the technical analysis that we've been teaching. You know, this 32 cent 2 range, the 322 range has just been a major accumulation range that we've been taking advantage of for several months, going back into June, getting us able to de-risk and come back and reaccumulate and de-risk again at 42 cents recently, 43 cents again, okay? 43 being the 14th prime number. XRP equals 14 and 15, so it's always by the numbers. So this 41 cent that we're getting rejection from is the mirror of 14 right now. So let's see what happens as we're in a downtrend right now. Let's see what Bitcoin does that causes the other markets and other coins to see what happens. Again, we usually get above this trend line and come back and retest it. We haven't really done that. So let's pay attention to possible price targets of, 30 to 27 cent that we've talked about in the past, because again, this coin is so fucking suppressed, and it just depends on how much gets washed out of the stock market, the other cryptocurrencies. If we were to see some major global event, then I think XRP is going to hit a minimum of 22 to 27 cents. And if we see some grandiose flip-flop, adoption of crypto and, clarity, we can even see this thing pump into 7.14 to as high as maybe even $27 by the numbers, you guys. Something we've shared for over a year now. So with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and sign out of this one. I think I've came out, shared a lot with you all, and we'll be back out soon. But pioneers, build your fortress, build your legacy, and build yourself. Alright, take care and God bless. Pioneers rise, and we'll see you in the next one.